Introduction. The memory palace, also known as the method of loci, is an ancient mnemonic technique that turns the art of memory into a vividly imaginative exercise. Originally conceived by the Greeks and Romans, this method has stood the test of time, proving to be an invaluable tool for anyone from students to professionals looking to enhance their recall abilities. In the simplest terms, a memory palace involves the use of spatial memory through the visualization of familiar environments, be it your home, a daily route, or a fictional place where each location serves as a container to store information you wish to remember. As you mentally walk through these spaces, you can retrieve information by recalling these visualized locales. The effectiveness of the memory palace has not only been celebrated in academic and psychological circles, but has also captured the imagination of the public through popular culture. Most notably, the detective Sherlock Holmes, in the BBC adaptation. Sherlock uses this technique to solve complex cases under tight deadlines, showcasing its potential to quickly recall vast amounts of information. In this blog, we'll delve deeper into how you can harness this powerful technique to boost your memory, improve learning outcomes, and effectively store and retrieve everything from simple lists to complex academic information. Historical background. The historical background of the memory palace, or the method of loci, spans several millennia, originating in the classical world of Greek and Roman cultures. The method was developed as a mnemonic technique by the Greeks and later popularized by the Romans, particularly by figures such as Cicero and Quintilian. These orators utilized the memory palace to memorize their speeches, which often had to be delivered from memory in public forums. According to legend, the method of loci was discovered by the Greek poet Simonides of Ceos, who realized the potential for using spatial relationships to recall information after a tragic event, where he was able to remember the exact locations of banquet guests killed in a building collapse. This incident highlighted how linking memories to physical locations could enhance recall. The technique involves visualizing a familiar structure, such as a building or city, and populating it with vivid, sensory-rich images, representing pieces of information. As one mentally walks through this palace, they can retrieve data by recalling these mental images placed along a defined route. Throughout the Middle Ages and into the Renaissance, the memory palace remained a cornerstone of education, underpinning the art of rhetoric and dialectics, demonstrating its enduring impact on the methods of learning and memory preservation over centuries. Basic concepts. The memory palace, also known as the method of loci, is a mnemonic device that leverages spatial memory to enhance the recall of information. The basic concepts involve creating a vivid and structured mental space, where information can be stored and easily retrieved. Here's how it generally works. 1. Selection of the palace first. Choose a familiar place that you can visualize clearly in your mind. This could be your home, workplace, or a regular route you take. 2. Mental journey. Plan a specific route in your memory palace, with distinct stops or stations along the way. Each station will serve as a cue for a piece of information you want to remember. 3. Visual association. At each station, create a vivid, sensory-laden image that links directly to the information you're memorizing. The stronger and more unusual the image, the more likely it is to stick in your memory. 4. Retrieval. When you need to recall the information, mentally walk through your memory palace, visiting each station and retrieving the associated images and information. 5. Repetition. Strengthen your memory of the information by revisiting and reinforcing the images in your memory palace over time. The memory palace technique is highly flexible and can be adapted for various types of information, from simple lists to complex concepts. Step-by-step guide. Creating a memory palace involves a series of structured steps to effectively encode, store, and retrieve information using spatial memory. Here is an in-depth, step-by-step guide to developing your own memory palace. 1. Select your palace. Choose a place that you are very familiar with, such as your home, workplace, or a regular route you travel. The key is familiarity. You should be able to easily visualize the layout and details of the place without being physically present. 2. Define a route. Plan a specific route for your memory palace. This could be the path you take through your house, or any sequence of locations in your chosen place that you can easily remember. Ensure that the route is logical, and that locations along the route are distinctive enough to trigger memory recall. 3. Identify memory stations within your route. Designate specific spots that will serve as stations, where you will store the information. These could be objects within a room or landmarks on a path. The more distinctive, the better, as unique characteristics help in reinforcing memory. 4. Encode information. Convert the information you need to remember into vivid, sensory images or scenes. These images should be engaging, unusual, or emotionally charged to enhance memorability. Place each of these images at the designated stations along your route. 5. Practice the journey. Walk through your memory palace, mentally revisiting each station and the associated images. The act of walking through the memory palace not only helps in solidifying the memory, but also in checking the clarity and effectiveness of the images used. 6. Review and iterate. Regularly revisit your memory palace to reinforce the images and the information they represent. Over time, review how well you can recall the information and adjust the images or their placements as needed to improve recall accuracy. 7. Expand or modify as you become more proficient with the technique. Consider expanding your memory palace, or creating additional palaces for different sets of information. This can help in managing large volumes of data without overcrowding a single mnemonic system. Following these steps, you can develop a powerful tool for memory enhancement that leverages the natural human capability for spatial learning and vivid imagery. Applications. The memory palace technique, an effective mnemonic device, has a broad range of applications across different fields and activities, enhancing memory retention and retrieval. Here are some detailed applications of this system. 1. Educational learning. Students use memory palaces to store and recall complex information, such as formulas, historical dates, or legal principles. This technique helps in breaking down large volumes of information into memorable segments, located in a familiar spatial environment. 2. Language acquisition. Language learners apply memory palaces to memorize vocabulary, grammar rules, and phrases by associating them with specific locations within their memory palace. This approach makes foreign languages less daunting and more accessible. 3. Professional development. In professional fields, especially where large amounts of information need to be recalled accurately, such as in medicine or law, practitioners use memory palaces to remember key facts, procedures, or laws efficiently. 4. Daily life. Memory palaces can also be applied in everyday life to remember shopping lists, itineraries, or important personal dates. This usage transforms mundane memory tasks into more engaging and effective cognitive exercises. 5. Competitive memory. Sports participants in memory championships use memory palaces to compete in events that require them to quickly memorize and recall random data, such as numbers, decks of cards, and names of people. Case studies and examples. The memory palace technique has been used effectively in a variety of contexts, demonstrating its versatility and power in enhancing memory. Here are some in-depth descriptions of case studies and examples. 1. Josh Foer. Josh Foer, a journalist who covered the USA Memory Championship, decided to try the techniques himself, and ended up winning the championship the following year. He used the memory palace to memorize random sequences of playing cards, poetry, and long lists of digits. His journey underscores the technique's accessibility and potential for anyone to improve their memory drastically with practice. 2. Academic studies. Students have utilized the memory palace for studying complex subjects, like biology and anatomy. For instance, a student might create a memory palace using their own home and assign different parts of the biology curriculum to different rooms or objects within the house, making the retention of detailed and voluminous information manageable. 3. Language learning. The memory palace has proven effective for language acquisition, where learners associate vocabulary and grammar rules with specific locations within their mental palaces. This technique allows for rapid recall and a deeper understanding of the language structure. 4. Professional applications. Professionals, especially in high-stakes environments like law and medicine, use memory palaces to remember vast amounts of information critical to their work, such as legal cases or medical diagnoses. This method helps maintain accuracy and quick recall under pressure. These case studies illustrate the broad applicability of the memory palace technique, from personal development to professional expertise, showcasing its benefits in both academic and practical settings. Tools and resources. To effectively learn and apply the memory palace technique, various tools and resources are available that cater to both beginners and advanced users. Here are some key resources. 1. Online guides and articles. Art of Memory blog offers a comprehensive guide on building a memory palace, including free ebooks that introduce memory techniques and how to apply them effectively. Art of Memory.com. Coursera article provides insights into how building a memory palace can enhance memory retention, with practical steps for beginners. Coursera.org. WikiHow guide includes a detailed step-by-step guide on planning routes within your memory palace, which is essential for structuring the mental storage of information. 2. Video tutorials. YouTube tutorials. Videos like those on YouTube explain the process visually, and can be particularly helpful for those who are new to the concept or prefer learning through video content. 3. Books and ebooks. Magnetic Memory Method website offers in-depth resources, including books and online courses, tailored to using memory palaces for learning languages and other complex information. 4. Interactive webinars and courses. LinkedIn articles and discussions provide professional insights and practical tips on enhancing the creativity and effectiveness of your memory palace technique. These resources provide both theoretical foundations and practical applications, helping users from various backgrounds to understand and utilize the memory palace technique more efficiently. Challenges and tips. While the memory palace technique is highly effective, users may encounter certain challenges. Here are some common hurdles and practical tips to overcome them. Challenges. Complexity in designing palaces. Beginners often struggle with designing their first memory palaces, finding it hard to decide how complex it should be and what locations to use. Overloading a single palace. There is a risk of overcrowding a single memory palace, which can lead to confusion and reduced effectiveness in recall. Maintaining sequential recall. Users sometimes find it challenging to recall information in non-sequential order, which can limit the flexibility of the technique. Tips. Start simple. Begin with a familiar and simple place, such as your home or daily route, and use clear, distinct stops along your route for placing information. Use vivid imagery. Make your mnemonics vivid, unusual, or emotionally charged. The stronger the image, the more likely it is to stick in your memory. Expand gradually as you become more comfortable with the technique. Gradually expand the complexity of your palaces, or create multiple palaces to avoid overcrowding. Practice regularly. Regular practice is crucial for refining the technique and enhancing your recall abilities. Like any skill, consistency is key. Iterative revision. Revisit and revise the contents of your memory palace periodically. This not only reinforces the memory but also checks for any decay in recall. Implementing these tips can help overcome the initial challenges of using the memory palace technique and enhance its effectiveness. Conclusion. The memory palace technique offers significant benefits for enhancing memory capacity and recall. By creating vivid, structured mental images associated with familiar spatial environments, individuals can dramatically improve their ability to remember and retrieve vast amounts of information, whether for academic, professional, or personal growth. Building your own memory palace can be a transformative tool, worthy of exploration by anyone interested in enhancing their cognitive abilities.